is a critical place for everybody. It's something that we cannot lose. It's something that we cannot leave behind. We can't walk away from because it's strictly our identity and our religion that makes us who we are. And we can't walk away from that.
This morning, we continue our coverage on the fight for Oak Flat. San Carlos Apache tribal members are at the center of this fight to protect their sacred land from being mined. They say the company at the helm will destroy their way of life. The Trump administration just paved the way to fast-track the Resolution Copper project, among others across the country, for economic development.
Yeah, and those against it say, hold on, this case is still going through the courts. So Colton is here with more on where things stand right now.
Yeah, good morning, Tess and Scott. So we're talking about the mining town of Superior, which is about an hour east of here, right? And this case has really been going back and forth for several years now, but now the clock is ticking for both sides. Arizona's family took you to Oak Flat last spring, where Apache stronghold leader Wensler Nosey Sr., former chairman of the San Carlos Apache, took up residence at the Oak Flat campground, just yards away from Resolution Copper's base, a reminder for the mining company that this land belongs to his people. Well, since then, he's taken his fight to the Supreme Court steps with his lawyers arguing for them to hear their case after a lower court ruling denied their efforts to stop the mine.
Is this an issue that keeps you up at night?
Oh man, it lives with me every second.
Apache Stronghold's argument centers on religious freedom.
It's a place where Native Americans have worshipped for centuries, but the government now wants to give it to Resolution Copper and turn it into a giant copper mine that will swallow the site and make it impossible to ever again worship there.
In mid-April, the Trump administration announced it would fast-track a number of mining projects, including Resolution Copper. The mining company says this will bring $1 billion a year to the state, create thousands of jobs, and secure the U.S.'s future on copper production, energy, and infrastructure. For that to happen, the project's final environmental impact statement needs to be published after June 16th. Once that happens, the land transfer can happen. But Resolution Copper tells Arizona's family mining would not begin immediately. Permits would need to be obtained from the state. Also, construction and development would take years. All eyes now on the Supreme Court.
They're actively considering it. They've considered it at a number of different private conferences, which is where they decide whether or not to grant cases. And yet the government is now trying to short circuit that process. And they've said they want to forge ahead with the transfer anyway, even though the Supreme Court has not yet finished its review.
Resolution Copper sent us a statement that reads in part, the company has agreed to forego portions of the ore body and major facilities have been completely relocated to avoid dozens of areas of cultural significance and hundreds of ancestral sites, as well as Apache Leap, one of the most significant Western Apache ancestral sites, has been placed in permanent protection. The Oak Flat campground will remain open and accessible for decades. In letters filed to the Supreme Court, Resolution Copper says this notice gives the court time to make a decision on whether they'll hear the case. And if they do, or even if it's still pending, they may reevaluate how to proceed. Nosey Sr. says he'll continue to fight however he can, no matter what the courts decide.
For me, my daughters, my granddaughters, my grandsons, and so forth, if this is wiped away from the face of the earth, then what does it do for us?
Well, Nosey Sr. says that Apache Stronghold will meet at Oak Flat on Sunday, and then they're going to have an 80-mile walk and run to downtown Phoenix. On Wednesday morning, their lawyers are filing an emergency appeal in this case at the federal courthouse because of this latest order, this move from the Trump administration, which a judge has agreed to hear. So they're going to start Sunday, end that evening in Apache Junction. Monday night, they'll be in Tempe, and then from there, they'll march to downtown Phoenix.
You can understand their passion for this and obviously why they want to stop it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what if the Supreme Court hears this case? What will happen?
Yeah, so, you know, looking at June 16th, it's kind of like, all right, we need to make a decision on whether or not you're going to pick this case up, right? So if they even choose to hear this case, the Supreme Court won't even hear arguments on it until the next session, so for next year. So again, they're willing to do all they can, putting this thing through the courts back and forth for as long as they say it takes.